Hi guys, welcome back to ladensercrochets. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome. My name is Liz. Kindly subscribe and join the family. You need to join this family and watch so many amazing tutorials that are right here on this channel. In this tutorial, we're going to upcycle a pair of denim pants. This one right here. As you can see, it's so tight on the hip area, I can barely breathe in it, and therefore I'll be undoing the sides using a seam ripper. So I'll undo the side from the waist area all the way down, and on the other side I'll do the same thing. Then I'm going to work 2 crochet panels that I'll attach to those sides in order to increase the width on the hip area and ensure that it fits. After attaching the 2 crochet pieces on the sides of the pants, this is what we have, and I totally love the outcome. Grab that tight pair of pants that you love so much and the other materials that I'm going to list on the description box, and let's get into the tutorial. I'm working with 2 thin yarns, and I'll be working with both of them at the same time to achieve a medium weight effect. Then I'll use a 4mm crochet hook. I'm going to need a pair of scissors, seam ripper, then we're going to also need stitch markers, darning needle, sewing needle, and a measuring tape. This is a pair of pants that I want to upcycle. It's a bit tight on the hip area, and therefore I'll be opening the sides, and once I open the sides, I'll work a piece, 2 pieces on both of the sides and attach them. I've already done that to one of the sides, and therefore I'm going to show it to you how to undo this side, and then after that I'll show you how to work the hem just like I've done with the other side. So you need to get your seam ripper, and we're going to use it to undo the stitches on this side of the pants, and we're going to do that up to the top. The only part that we're not going to undo is the waist area. So let me do that. You want to be very careful. Make sure that you're only cutting through the stitches and not the fabric. So be very careful as you undo this part, because that will determine how your work will look like at the end, and we want it to be neat. Therefore, do not use a pair of scissors, use a seam ripper. So let me do that, and then I'll come back. At this point, I'm done unraveling the stitches on the side of the leg of the pants, and so it's time to get to sewing. We want to sew something like what I've done on the other leg. So I'm just going to get my sewing needle and some yarn. I'm using the navy blue yarn to do the sewing on the side. So get the needle and some yarn and put it through, then we start sewing. Right here, I've already put the yarn through, and you need to make a knot at the end of the yarn, and we're going to begin from the bottom on either of the 2 sides. Make sure that you're working on the right side of the pants, and right here I'm just making sure that my yarn is okay. So I'm going to begin from a point at the bottom, and I'm going to put the needle through and pull the yarn. I've put the needle from the inside, then I'm going to pull the yarn from the outside of the pants. It seems like I've put so much yarn too long, and but it's good because I need to go all the way around. So now go to the bottom part, complete bottom, and then get your yarn and put it under the needle, then pull it through. Don't be too tight with the stitches. Then you're going to go onto a point. You're skipping like a centimeter apart. This is just an estimation. It's not exactly a centimeter, but if you can measure the points where you're going to put your stitches, then that would be better. Then insert your needle, put the yarn below the needle and then pull it through. Then go on to the next part, put the needle through, make sure that you go under the needle with the yarn, and then you're going to pull the needle through, and we're going to keep going like this until we get to the top. Once we get to the top, we're going to turn to the other side and work the same thing. So if having a very long piece of yarn is distracting, then you can work with shorter pieces, and then you can add them as you go. So now keep going all the way to the top, get to the top, and then work back to the bottom on the other side. I'm coming to the top part, and I've just run out of the yarn, so I'm going to cut off this yarn and then I'm going to add some more. And what I do is I put a very tight knot that is very close to the stitches, so that the knot does not distract me when I'm working on my work. So make the knot, make sure it's very close to the stitches. Then I'm just going to get the needle. I'm at the top part and I'm just going to work a stitch very close to that V part of the top part of the pants. And as I do that, I'll be working over the ends that have remained after making the knot. So we have another stitch very close to the top. Make sure that you go under your sewing needle and then you pull it through. Then we're going to turn to the other side and begin from the very top, and we're just going to work this other side exactly the same way we've worked our first side, and we're going to work all the way to the bottom. So let me do that, and then after I'm done working the hem on the opposite side of the leg, we're going to work the piece that we're going to attach onto the pants. I'm doing the last stitch at the end. Then after doing that very last stitch, I'll just turn to the wrong side and weave in the end that has remained inside the stitches. Now this is what we have after doing those stitches, and we have the other leg ready. So now it's time to work our crochet pieces that we're going to attach. Get the measuring tape, and we're going to measure the length from the top to the bottom of the pants. I've measured up to a length of 37 inches, so the piece that we're going to work should have a length of 37. I've already done the two pieces, and as you can see, I combined the navy blue with the white. Each of the two pieces is a thin yarn, and when combined, it gives a medium weight effect. And each of the pieces is 37 inches in length. So we can confirm that measuring from the top, from the tip of at the top, and then we're going to measure all the way to the bottom part of that piece, and it should be 37 inches, just like the length that we measured on the pair of jeans. I'll be using this medium weight yarn to illustrate how to work on either of the pieces. So I'll just show you a little bit of the process, and then I'll let you work to the end in order to get your desired length. Also, you also need to determine the width that you want to increase. It could be 2 inches on either side, it could be 3, it could be 4. Start with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 2. So chain 1 and 2, insert your hook into the first chain and pull up a loop to complete a single crochet. Then yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch and do a double crochet. Then into the same stitch, do a single crochet. So in total, we have 3 stitches in row 1, chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. We're going to begin in the very first stitch, yarn over and do a double crochet right there. So where there was a single crochet, we're going to place a double crochet. In the middle, we're going to do a single crochet on top of the double crochet. Then at the end, we're going to do a double crochet on top of the single crochet. So you're alternating between a double crochet and a single crochet. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. Begin in the first stitch with a single crochet. Then we're going to work an increase in the middle stitch. We're going to do a double crochet, then a single crochet into the same stitch, then a double crochet into the same stitch. And in the very last stitch, we're going to place a single crochet because that was a double crochet. That's row 3 done. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn to begin row 4. So chain and turn, and because we've ended with a single crochet, we're going to place a double crochet into that first stitch, a single crochet next, a double crochet next, a single crochet next, and finally we have a double crochet into the last stitch. So there is no increase in row 4, chain 1 and turn, and in row 5 there is no increase either. So we start with a single crochet, a double crochet where we had the previous single crochet, a single crochet on top of the previous double crochet, a double crochet on top of the single crochet, then a single crochet on top of the double crochet at the end. And we're done with row 5, chain 1 and turn. Row 6 is going to be an increased row. We start with a double crochet where there was a single crochet, then a single crochet where there was a double crochet, and we get into our middle stitch. So we're going to place a double crochet, then back into the same stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, into the same stitch, a double crochet. So that's an increase, then a single crochet next, and a double crochet at the end. After the increase, we're going to work 2 rows without increasing. So chain 1 and turn, begin with a single crochet because that was a double crochet, then a double crochet, a single crochet next, a double crochet next, single crochet, double crochet, and single crochet at the end. Then chain 1 and turn. This is the second row with no increase. We start with a double crochet because we've ended with a single crochet. Then we're going to have a single crochet next, a double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, another single crochet next, and at the end we have a double crochet. So we are done with the 2 rows with no increase. So the next one is going to be an increased row. Chain 1 and turn, begin with a single crochet. So we're going to have 1, 2, and 3 stitches. Then the middle stitch, which is the 4th stitch, will get 3 stitches. So we're going to have a double crochet, a single crochet, and another double crochet. Then we continue to the end. We should have 3 stitches at the end, so single crochet, double crochet, and single crochet. So now that we've increased, we're going to work 2 rows with no increase, chain 1 and turn, begin with a double crochet, then a single crochet, a double crochet next, a single crochet next, then double crochet, single crochet, then double crochet, single crochet, and the last stitch is going to be a double crochet. This is the first row without increasing, chain 1 and work the second row without increasing. So as you can see, we are working 2 rows with no increase, 1 row with an increase in the middle, then 2 rows, 1 row with an increase. And that is a pattern that we need to repeat until we get to the width that we want. If you want 2 inches, you're going to increase like 4 times. Right now I'm already above 2 inches. I want to work 4 inches for my width. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, start with a double crochet, and I'm going to work a total of 4 stitches. So it's like we're increasing a stitch as we move along. So 4 stitches, then the next stitch is going to be an increase stitch. So right there we're going to do a double crochet, a single crochet, a double crochet, and then single crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the stitch that follows, single crochet, and finally a double crochet. So chain 1 and work 2 rows without increasing. So keep alternating like this until you get to the width that you want. I've done an increase, the last increase in row 16, and that is what gets me to my 4 inches. So after that increase in row 16, I'm not going to increase anymore. I'll just chain 1 and turn, begin with the double crochet, then I'm going to do a single crochet, a double crochet, and from now until we get the full length of the piece that we want, we're not going to be increasing. So just 1 stitch on top of 1 stitch. And that means we're just going to alternate between the double crochets and the single crochets. And at the end, we just chain 1 and turn. Always make sure that you begin in the first stitch. Always make sure that you chain 1 before turning. And always make sure that if it was a double crochet in the previous row, it gets a single crochet in the row that follows. And then keep alternating the stitches. Because I already have my 2 pieces ready, I'll just go on to attaching them. And I did a total of 100 rows in order to get to the 37 inches. So if you're working less than 37 inches, you might need fewer rows. If you're working more, if you're working 40 inches, you're going to need more than 100 rows. So let's get to attaching the pieces now onto the pants. Get your pants and one of the crochet pieces that you've worked. Then we're going to attach with stitch markers. So get a stitch marker and we're going to put it at the tip where we have the V. Like you can see, we have a V-shaped part on top. Then we're going to connect that V with the top of the pants using the stitch marker. Then you're going to need to align your work all the way to the bottom. And to do that, we're going to place stitch markers at various parts of our pants. So I'll place a stitch marker at the end. I'll definitely remove this when I start sewing, but then for starters I'll start with the one on top and one at the bottom. Then after that I'll get more stitch markers and mark the middle parts. So get another stitch marker and mark somewhere in the middle. Then get another one and just mark. So the reason for marking is to make sure that your work is aligned correctly so that it fits perfectly onto, so that the crochet piece fits perfectly onto the jeans. So I'm getting another stitch marker and marking on another part right there. So just mark. So after marking, now we can start sewing from the bottom to the top. When we get to the top, we'll work all the way down to the bottom on the other side. So right here, I'm going to get my darning needle. I left a long end at the end of my piece, and therefore I'll just use it to attach. So get the needle and put the yarn through. And then start from that bottom part of both the crochet piece and the pants in the very first stitch. On the crochet piece we are working on the rows, then we are aligning them with the stitches. So I'm putting it through the first row and the first stitch on the pants, and then I'll go back into the same stitch and then do a knot just to secure that part and ensure that it does not unravel easily. Then from here you're just going to align your work, go into a row and then on top of a stitch, just like I'm doing. So you're working rows and stitches, and we go into the next row. So go into another row and a second stitch at the third stitch, that is. Just sew them together, and as you can see we are working this from the right side of the pants, so work from the right side and not from the wrong side. Then align your work, go into a row and onto a stitch on the pants and just join them together. Then we're going to move on to another row and another stitch on the pants, and this is how we're going to work all the way to the top. When we get to the top, we're going to turn to the other side and work all the way to the bottom. When we get to the top, we're just going to remove that stitch marker after working the stitch. Before the stitch marker, then we're going to work the stitch that is aligned with the stitch marker, and then we're going to turn to the other side of the pants. So turn your work to the other side, and when you turn, we're going to get stitch markers and align our work just like we had aligned on the other side before we start sewing from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to get a stitch marker and I'll attach at the very bottom part of the crochet piece and the pants. So just align them, align those two stitches. Then we're still going to get other stitch markers and align the work in the middle. Get another stitch marker and place it somewhere in the middle of our work, right there. Then I'm going to get another stitch marker and continue marking in the middle part of the pants and the crochet piece. Then I'm going to get another one and mark, and then after that I'll start sewing just like I've sewn on the other side, and I'll do that from the top to the bottom. So get your work from the top and start the sewing. When we get to the end, we're going to remove the stitch marker, and then we're going to do the last stitch, then put a knot right there, and then we turn to the wrong side and weave in that end that has remained. So you just need to go inside the stitches, weave in the end, and then cut it off. This is what we're going to have on that side after attaching the crochet piece, and we're going to turn to the other side, get the other piece and connect it the same exact way we've done with this one. I'm done connecting that second piece on the other side of the pants, and at this point we are done. So thank you so much if you stuck around to the end of the tutorial. If you've enjoyed the tutorial, kindly leave a like, a comment, share, subscribe. You can also leave a comment on what you think we should upcycle next, and I'll get right to it. Click on the thanks button also if you want to leave a special gift to support this video and many others that are yet to come. And see you in the next one.